beautiful souls! I am Valeria Maritza at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. Today, I want to talk to you about how we all are mystics. We are all mystics, which means that we are connected to the divine. You are all of us can receive messages, see things, know things, all the things. And the key here is that we all receive the messages differently. I am a quantum energy healer, and one of the things that I do is I lead people through our journey where they get to heal deepest childhood traumas, things they've been holding on to, allowing all of this stuff to be released. And when that happens, we fill the body with light. We fill those spaces where the darkness has been released with light. What that does is it brings more light into the body. And when you have more light into the body, you are able to connect better, easier, and more often with your guides who are always here for you. My last episode was just about that your guides and your loved ones are always with you. Why can we not see them, hear them, or connect with them so often or so easily? Without the use of a medium or a psychic or somebody who's more spiritual, quote unquote, than us, because we have darkness within us. We have parts stored in our body that are telling us all kinds of negative things that make us believe that we're separate from the divine, that we're less than, and that we don't have what others do. When in fact, we all have this connection. We are born with it. We just forget about it because we have been told over and over by the powers that be that we are not, that we're separate. And nobody's doing this on purpose to hurt us. They're doing it because it was done to them. And it was done to their parents, and it was done to their parents, and it was done to their parents, and you get the picture, right? So nothing was done in order like, okay, I'm going to snap this person's connection to the divine. I'm going to drill into them something else that is not true. No, we are taught whatever we're taught because that's what they believe. The people in our lives believe that, and that's what they taught it to us, right? Don't touch the fire, you're going to get burned. We know it's going to happen, and I believe it's going to happen, and so I teach my children to do that, right? And that's the same way that we teach things about what we believe about spirituality and our connections to the divine. So in my line of work, this has come up a lot. And what comes up is the feeling that there's something wrong with me. I can't connect. I don't have the powers, the magic, the gifts that you have. And when I say you, I don't mean just me. I mean like anyone else that does any type of spiritual work like this, like what I do. I need, quote unquote, someone else to be the medium or the connection between me and what I want to know from my spirit guides or from my loved ones or from my higher self. All of those things happen and they come to me with these issues when in fact all of those gifts are inside of each one of us. Each one of us, we all have it. The problem happens, and why people come to me like this is because they're comparing themselves. We compare ourselves to others that we see that are perhaps on social media or in the media, like really famous, and they're doing things and they're speaking and they're so smooth and they're so good and they're like so fast in receiving the messages. And we're not getting any of that. We're not getting the speed. We're not getting the messages. We don't see things. We don't hear it. And we feel like we're broken. We feel like there's something wrong with us. We feel like we can't do it. And it happens because we're trying to see, feel, and receive through the eyes and experience of other people. We are all unique in our making. And that has to do with the way that we communicate and receive. So when I say, for example, when I'm with a client and I say, oh, I'm seeing your grandfather, or I'm seeing this, or I'm getting that, right? When I say I see, I'm not actually seeing with my eyes as I'm seeing this laptop in front of me right now. I am actually seeing it through my third eye, which means it's somewhere in my mind. But it gets even more abstract because I'm not actually seeing it there either. It's just an instant knowing. It's like a knowing where I get to see some type of an image and I don't even know where this image is. And that's how I see things. So the words are deceiving. If anyone is comparing themselves to me and I'm saying, okay, I'm seeing this, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, it's this, and I don't see anything, all I see is a wall, of course they're not going to see it because I'm not seeing it either. It's just the best way that I have to communicate to the three-dimensional people that we are. What is the closest thing that I can come up with that makes sense when I am receiving the messages? And that's just me. So many other people have so many different gifts and ways in which they receive it, right? Another gift that I have is that I feel pain or a constriction or a tingling in my body when somebody else has physical pain in their body. It's almost as if I transfer the pain to my body and I feel it so that I can feel what they're feeling. Does that make sense? Many people have this. My brother has this. He just denies it. But that's how it is. It is the connection that we have is one of my gifts. My mom told me that my grandmother also was able to feel things this way. And it's just a way of knowing that you're in the right track, that you are connected, that you are receiving. But that's my experience. So if you are trying to connect to your gifts or to expand your gifts and see what they're like and what else can you do, and you are saying and you're looking at other people how they do it, and then you're going back to yourself, I don't see that, I don't feel that, I don't get that. And then you're automatically saying to yourself, I can't, I'm broken, and I don't have it. When in fact you have all of it, but you just get it in a different way. And so this is why the meditation going within is so important, because when you go in meditation, when you go into nature and there's no other people around and you just immersing yourself with Mother Nature, where there's no other heads, no other thoughts of people thinking, because the trees are not thinking thoughts, you are able to go back to yourself, to your own thoughts, to your own feelings, to your own knowing, and then you're able to tune into what comes up for you. Right? And once you're able to come to tune into what comes up for you, then you can realize how you actually receive the messages, how you can hear, quote unquote, here, your guides, because it's different for you than it is for other people. And even if other people see things exactly like I see them, it's still going to be different. Okay, it's just like your fingerprint. You look at your fingerprint, we all have one, and every single one of us humans in this earth have different fingerprints. And it's exactly the same way, the way that we are able to receive and communicate with beings that are not in the three-dimensional world. So beings in different dimensions, different in different areas that we cannot see. We each have our own unique print of being able to have that connection. So when we are looking at ourselves and comparing ourselves, right? Because I mean, seriously, guys, I see this so often. I could write a book about it. With the experiences that people tell me, right? They tell me, oh, I don't have that, I can't do it, or it takes me forever to make a connection, right? Allow yourself to receive and to meet your connections the way they come to you, and then develop that by acknowledging it, by allowing it, by being thankful and grateful for it. And as you do that, it will get stronger and faster for you. It doesn't have to be the same way for everyone. This is why there are thousands of spiritual healers, and each one of them has their own client that is attracted to their energy because they match the way that that particular person speaks to them. If it wasn't like that, if we were all the same, then any business would be saturated, because you'll be like, oh, well, that healer over there is so amazing and crazy, and I'm just starting, and so nobody's going to come to me because there's somebody so much better than me. But no, it's not like that. We're all equal in our own power, in our own gifts, in our own knowing. And there's always someone that is matching to our own personal energy, that we are the only ones that can help them in the way that we can help them, right? I am the only one that can make a painting the way I can make a painting. You are the only one that can make a painting the way that you can make a painting, right? I am the only one that walks the way I walk, and you walk the way you walk. You ever seen people and recognize them from far away because of their walk? It's their own signature walk. It's the same way with our connections. And so when you are doing your own healing journey and you are working on listening to your guides, on connecting with your loved ones or connecting with your guides, and you're going through this, stop comparing yourself to others and trying to see, feel, hear things the way other people do it, because that stops your connection right in their tracks. As long as I am putting my energy into John Edwards, you guys know John Edwards, right? The famous medium, he's on TV like all the time. Um, John Edwards sees and speaks about things, about their loved ones in this way. And so I'm trying to connect to my loved ones, and I'm not getting anything like he's getting. Why am I not getting it? Because I'm not thinking or connecting with myself. I am not being in the moment and allowing the messages to flow to me. I am instead thinking and putting my attention on how John Edward does it. Right? So I'm not thinking about me at all. I'm not thinking about my guys. I'm not allowing anything, any communication to come through me. I'm putting my attention on him. And I'm just using him as an example because, he's like a public figure. But for you, you can think of anyone that you think about, that you follow, that you listen to. Anyone that you think that they're doing a great job, and you really like the way they do their things, and then you're comparing yourself to them. You are putting and spreading your energy onto them instead of taking that energy and putting it within, so that you're able to feel the way that you actually receive your messages. Does that make sense? I'm going to give you a really amazing, great example. So, I read the Akashic Records. If you don't know what the Akashic Records are, I'm going to give you a brief explanation. It's like an infinite library that has a book about every single person and every single life they have ever lived during the entire existence of their life. So if they've been on earth 1,000 times, it has a book for each one of their lives and every single thing, thought, and experience that they have. It also has books on all of the experiences of every animal, tree, and thing. Yeah, like you can read the Akasha records of your house. It's a thing that was built by people, right? So yeah, every single thing that has ever existed has a record. And so the Akashic records is this huge library, infinite library is the way I saw it, that contains this information. And what is reading the Akashic records? What does that mean? It means that you go into the person's records, you open the records, and you go and you ask to be shown one of the books, one of the lives that pertains to whatever it is that the person is working through. A lot of times it's an experience like, let's say somebody is afraid of the water, right? And then we find out that they drowned in a past life and they carried on that. And that's why they have it. And then that usually clears it. That usually clears their fear, and they're no longer afraid of going in the water. So this is how we use the Akashic records. But getting back to my story, when I heard about the Akashic records, I was like really intrigued. And then I wanted to take a course, and I kept going back and forth because my guides kept saying yes, no, you don't really need it, whatever. And then at one point, this one particular person, because there's so many people who teach the Akashic records, how to read them, right? This one particular person had a course, And I got an instant yes, you need to take this course. And it wasn't even completely aligned because half of the things in this lady's course I already did and I already knew no how to do. I already knew how to do. There we go. But I still took the course. Why did I take the course? Because my guys kept telling me that it was going to be very beneficial for me. And it wasn't just about taking a course on how to read the Akasha records, it was the person who was teaching it. So a lot of times it's not about what we need to learn or would be beneficial for us to learn, but it's also who gets to teach you or who gets to take you on this journey, right? So I got a yes and I did this course. And while I was learning to do this, it was revealed to me that I was always in the records. Okay. And this was a huge, gigantic aha moment for me because I had been trying, quote unquote, to open the records and see what it felt like and read the records for a while without success. People would say, oh, yes, I feel like a tingling on my crown chakra when I open the records, or I feel this coldness come over my body, or I feel whatever. People would tell me different things that they would feel or know, and then they would know that the records were open and that they had done it, right? Well, I would do the steps of doing it, and I would sit there and I would feel nothing. I would feel no difference. I would get no messages, and I was extremely frustrated, right? This is my experience. This is why I took the course. Because I was like, okay, well, maybe that's what I need. I need a course to like really explain to me how this works. Well, while I was taking the course, I was still experiencing the same things, which was nothingness. I wasn't getting anything. This is pertaining to you because I know that a lot of you are feeling this way when you're working on your own spiritual journey. It's like, oh, I don't see it, I don't get it, or I don't feel it, right? Okay, so I was still not getting it. And then it was revealed to me that I was always in the records. And then my guys said to me, this is where you're getting the information. So when I was reading a client, or when I was uh, having a client to do a healing on them, and I was giving them information of where this is happening and what we need to do and whatever it is, right? When all of this was coming up, it was coming up because I was in the records. Like I was already in them. I wasn't opening, like if you take courses, it says you need to ask permission, you need to say this prayer, you need to say these words, right? All of these things are given to you when you take a course, that you're supposed to follow these steps in order to open the records and access the information. Well, for me, it wasn't like that. For me, I would get a client that they would sit in front of me. I would ask, the permission is already granted because they're coming to me for a healing. And I'm starting to talk and everything's making sense and everything's, resonating with them. And it's amazing. And I think, oh my gosh, I'm so good. Like, how did it happen? Like, how am I receiving these messages? It's because I was in the records. And because I had been in the records all of my life, is what my guides told me, it is so integrated in my body, in my soul, in my being, that when I go and I consciously go and say a prayer to quote unquote open the records, I feel no difference. And I feel no difference because I'm already in there. Does that make sense? Why am I telling you this story? Because a lot of the things that you do, a lot of your gifts are like this for me. They are so common for you. You've been doing them forever. You've been feeling them forever. They're just so normal that you think it's just you. But in fact, it's your gift. And you don't realize it because you've been doing it your whole life, just like I have been in the records my whole life. When I speak to people and I tune into them and I talk to them, I'm getting this information from the records, right? This is what I was told. And so for you, it's the same thing. You get information for whatever it is. Yours is going to be different than me. I'm not saying that you're also in the records all the time, although you might be. But whatever it is, you have these gifts that are integrated within you, and you've been using them all your life, and because of that you have no idea that they're actually your gifts or that you're using them, because it's just part of you. It's just like breathing, right? I have another friend. She has the ability to remember anything, and for her it's like looking at a book and going backwards and forwards on the book, and she can tell you to the page what page a specific paragraph is in. This is how her brain works. It has worked like this all her life. She had no idea that everyone on earth doesn't do that, right? If you're born with something and you're using it all the time, you have no idea that other people don't do that or that it's different for you than other people. And that's your gift. And so I'm encouraging you to begin to look at yourself and question what parts of me are magical that I've just been labeling as normal or that or ordinary or that everybody has, right? What parts of me, what part of me is in so integrated and so connected that I don't even realize that I am doing it or that I have it and that other people may not, right? I encourage you to look at this and look into your own path, your own life, your own gifts so you can get closer and closer to using them on purpose and helping yourself and others with it. All right, I love this episode. I am so excited for you. I can't wait to hear from you what your realizations are because I am sure you're going to have aha moments after hearing this one. So please leave me comments on it or send me a message. Please like and subscribe the podcast and please share with anyone that you think will really like and benefit from these messages. I love you so much and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.